Who goes there beyond across the sea? And hopefully we're able to gather as many treasures as far as I could. Even though that apparently there is a lack of sand, but either way though, we'll just have to say, screw it, we'll go through sea or water swimming, I suppose, from that specific truth. Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Mario here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. So last time we actually did manage to fully completely done with everything in Wooded Kingdom after a bit of some struggles here and there when it comes to finding every single power moons, and especially with the forms of the regional coins, just because you know how the fact that that place was gigantic by the looks of all this. And today for this episode is the fact that we're about to be continue on and hopefully going back into, well, as you can see right already from the start, we are immediately went back into the forms of the Lake Kingdom just because not only by the forms of, you know, collecting more power moons, but also by the forms of hopefully trying to find the final 3 of those regional coins. But before we do the rest of it, however, though, we need to go ahead and deal with the last main mission before we do anything else, and that is the forms of the, once again, seed gardening. And all you have to do on this particular mission, all you do is very simple and self-explanatory, because either way, whenever I first got into this bit, or in this case, whenever I got into this kingdom for the first time, I have no idea what that seed was supposed to be there for, but it turns out we need to able to take it all the way to that, you know, that flower pot that we've actually already come across into from earlier ago. Now we need to able to, like, deliver it from there. So, but except this time around though, the only thing you need to worry about is of course your cost of your air meter. So, but again, if you run out of air, well, chances are the easiest way to do this is by simply you have to swim all the way up until you're able to get your fresh air back up again. And same applies by the forms of grabbing those bubbles, or you can't do it with cheap, but you can't grab the seed while you, or in this case, you can't really carry the seed along with it. So if that's the case, that might be true. So anyways though, we'll leave that there for now until whenever we decide to deal with even more missions. So even then though, yeah, let's go ahead and get started right there. So yeah, today was actually forms of the 28th of February, in this case in 2019. In this case, this is the final day of February this year. So even then though, because of that, you know, we'll explain more on that later. But for now, let's go with these little trios of girls here. And even then though, depends on what costumes you'll be wearing, because for example, I've managed to wear my pirate costume, as you can see right there, or in this case a pirate outfit. Basically, it depends on what correct costumes you're going to be wearing. I believe there are a grand total of 3 costumes you need to wear, which there are obviously the pirate outfit, and there's also the ones with the cowboy one. Actually, I'll mention about that more on that later, because Princess Peach is right there. I can't decide what's lovelier here, the people or our archer. I can't pronounce that very well, I do apologize. Is this where that lovely lady dress that Peach wore was made? Oh yeah, a power moon came floating along. It'll be safer with you. And of course, just like last time, then Princess Peach able to actually give you a nice treatment of a power moon, of course. I wonder where there is to see above the clouds. Probably something worth seeing. Means the next kingdom we're going to be heading to, especially for bump into Peach, and that will have to be by the forms of the Cloud Kingdom. Now, as you can see, that we actually did collected ourselves 500 power moons. And basically, if you manage able to gather 500 power moons, this will able to unlock ourselves the true final world in the entire game. But even though we're not going to get into that just yet though, because obviously it's a bit too early to able to do at the moment. So because for now, we'll go ahead and continue exploring for this particular place, and especially noticeable, we're about to be participating for another one of those Koopa free running missions. So even then though, because of that though, we'll hopefully gather as many of those moons as possible. So even then though, there's actually a cool shortcut you can able to actually perform when you're trying to able to actually skip that underwater sequence entirely, which I'll show you in just a moment as soon as that countdown actually finishes this. But basically you have to simply perform a triple jump and do a cappy long jump, and boom, there you go. You became first place no problem with any sort of circumstances though anyway, especially because of how the fact that you can easily skip over with the forms of that underwater section, because to me, I found the underwater section to be kind of slow at points, but as long as you can able to actually use that, you know, very cool shortcuts you can perform, then you would able to actually skip the entire portion of the forms of that specific race. So, definitely worth it though, because either way though, this is easily one of the easiest, group of free running, you know, missions to me though, because either way, not only because it makes it a little bit more easier with ease, but also because if you perform a shortcut like I do right there, this means you might as well get yourselves a good chunks of shortcuts if you manage to skip them. So because the reason why the staircase from earlier ago wasn't there, is because of how the fact that, well, it was actually originated from that, whenever the first time you've been to this place. So anyways though, so that's it for that, and let's just go ahead and move along. And yeah, and right from the start, there's a hint dodge right there, and this is going to take place in a Cascade Kingdom, which in this case, we'll take a snapshot here, before we come back into that at some point, whenever we get back into that kingdom, and hopefully for the most part, everything else will be checked out there, for the most part. So anyways though, there are some few things I want to mention about this actually, since I've already mentioned about the forms of the Pokemon Directs yesterday, about the films of the actual reveal of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield coming to the Nintendo Switch at some point this year, meaning by the films of the very end of this year. However though, as far as what I already noticed about this earlier, that how the fact that I've already mentioned about the fact that the actual region called Galar, which is basically is actually based off from UK or United Kingdom, when I originally did say this before, it turns out I was correct, because either way though, because I guessing the rumors were true, then that the rumors did actually say about the forms of how the fact that the actual setting of the next generation of Pokemon is going to take place in United Kingdom, which either way, so that's a pretty good deal for me, because either way though, that, you know, in the last generation that we've had, takes place in Ula region, so because of that, usually it's inspired by Hawaii, or in this case in well, just new forms of Hawaii in general. So that I digress, so let's go ahead and change over to our another costume, which I believe we need to change into the space helmet, because if you remember playing Mario Party 2, that's based off one of those boards you're going to be playing, which there are Pirates Land and Space Land and Western Land, that if you manage to able to recognize the you know, one of these costumes you'll be wearing throughout in the majority of Mario Party 2, that in Pirate Land you're going to be wearing the pirate outfit, and in Western Land you'll be wearing a, you know, a cowboy deputy outfit, and then in Space Land you'll be wearing a space duty suit. Well, usually as far as I can usually say about it here. And, excuse me, and usually, apart from the fact that in Mario Party 2, it's pretty lacking with space helmets. But on the other hand, though, we'll be able to actually doing that like 3 times. One of them can be evolved with the pirate suit, and also spaceman suit, as you can see right there. And the third and the final one will have to be by the forms of the Western cowboy one. So even then, though, is how this goes. The left woman is actually the space suit requirement. The one on the middle is obviously a pirate outfit. And the one on the right, which is of course we need to be required to wear, the actual cowboy suit. See, Fernando, because the reason why I'm gonna have to keep on teleporting back towards the forms of the Odyssey ship, so just in case it makes the traveling segments between costume outfits changing, and it forms of the actual kingdom itself a lot faster. So, but even then though, let's go ahead and change ourselves into cowboy outfit, based off from Mario Party 2 in Western Land. But I don't think you can actually pull off guns or anything, or even a pop gun from the international version of the game of Mario Party 2. Because you know how the fact that the only difference is between the international version of Mario Party 2 and the Japanese version of Mario Party 2 is the different gun they used. Because either way, in the Japanese version they did manage to use the real guns, but on the international version they did manage to able to use the pop-out guns instead, because they just don't want to make it a little bit more threatening from international players, because either way, that's actually pretty dark when it comes to the forms of the Japanese version, I feel like, especially because compared to Mario Party 1, on the Japanese version than the international version is that in the Japanese version, that specifically for Wario and Luigi, those two managed to say a mild language or something, and that's the forms of "Oh my God." Whilst the forms of the international version that Luigi goes like "Oh whoa 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 whoa," and the Wario did manage to say himself "Though I missed," which is actually a German accent, because either way, if you thought that "though I missed" was actually a thing, well, it turns out it was actually a German accent, because either way, that makes it superiorly obvious. So, anyway, so that's it for those 3 trios of those woman costume missions. Even though there's this 27th Power Moon I could probably get, but again, I'll save that up for later, because for now, let's go ahead and activate the actual moon rock. See if Nintendo will go ahead and deal with all that. And sure enough, we can able to actually just let the actual thing goes on to, well, pretty much split up. So even then, let's get this thing started. So apart from the fact that with the forms of another thing I just want to mention about this actually is the fact that they haven't revealed the legendary Pokemon, the main legendary Pokemon in both Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield yet. It's pretty obvious because they need to have a lot more time before the actual game itself will be able to be, you know, finally polished or something like that. But either way though, I'm assuming it might actually be wait until when it gets to E3 this year, which is understandable because much like in Pokemon Sun, back in, oh yeah, in Pokemon Moon as well, they did manage to able to mention about those two games on, back in E3 2016, after all. Alongside with, you know, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, originally for the Wii U, but now we have the additional with the Nintendo Switch version, so because of, you know, Nintendo's new hardware and all that stuff. So anyways though, there's another Power Moon right over there, behind the Flood Gate. And even then though, that, as you can see right there, we did manage to done the previous mission, which is, the bird traveling mission. At least in that particular mission, it was actually a lot more easier and quicker, just because this, area was a lot more smaller than it used to be. And thanks a lot, you stupid Goomba. Anyway, speaking of the Goomba, we'll go ahead and use him to able to go all the way back to the Odyssey. But we're not just going back onto the Odyssey, but rather, if you go all the way over there, we got ourselves another Goomba Love mission out of the way. So even then though, that's just like before, just, you know, capture the Goomba, and then that's all you have to do here. So, Love by the Lake. And then, obviously, if you manage to uncapture the Goomba, then once again, she'll run off. So, yeah, to get the idea. The only thing you need to worry about, though, with that mission, though, is of course water, because Goombas just really despise the water so much. Well, at least because they don't know how to able to swim back up. But even then, it makes it obvious. So, anyway, oh, whole bounty of coins. I like the sound of that. So anyways though, let's go ahead and participate the Koopa free running mission again, but this time on Masterclass. And even then though, just like before, I'm gonna go for the exact same system for how it does it previously. So even then though, we might as well go for it. Oh yeah, another thing I just want to explain about this actually is the fact that, I'm pretty sure about the forms that for those of you able to actually still become a brony, including myself, that I think Piglet has already mentioned about this actually, about the fact that I'm pretty sad to say that My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 9 is going to be the definition of the final season of the particular series, which I will still going to miss that show when that's been finished and done, or in this case, whenever they just move on to the next generation or something, because either way, I have a really fun time with the actual show so far. I mean, a little bit far off when it comes to, like, I was missing, I still need to able to watch the entire season 2. Well, because of that though, I need to get a DVD compilation of the actual box set eventually, because either way though, I need to get into the actual season 2 properly, so even then though, hopefully I should catch up. So even then though, because of that, oh, I did get my new record this time. Okay, I'm guessing because I was a little bit slow at the end, but I did do pretty well with the beginning though. That's the only positive note. So, there we go. That concludes the Lake Kingdom Master Cup. So even then though, let's go ahead and move along. Seems somehow we didn't got that much far left of it when it comes to the Lake Kingdom so far. Again, just because of how the fact that we did manage to done so much of it back in the day. Well, at least to be more specifically for about a year ago almost. But either way though, because of how the fact that I was way into this particular kinds of stuff. So anyways though, apart from the fact that with the forms of the final season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 9, I did see a teaser trailer for it, and oh my god, King Saboria, or in this case the actual main villain from Season 3, is making its return, and this time out for revenge. Or perhaps maybe it might be a different King Saboria, but because as far as I've heard from the teaser trailer of the forms of the Season 9 teaser trailer, that his eyes has actually gone all red rather than green, but I'm guessing it might be some potentials, maybe, I don't know. But even then, as far as I've noticed is that Season 9 is going to be the darkest seasons. As far as I've probably noticed that, well, we don't know exactly for sure just yet, because either way, we've already got about 2 more months, or in this case for this matter, at this point, because today was actually forms of the 28th of February, the final day of this month in particular for this year, because until next year, in 2020, they might as well get themselves the extra day, which is the 29th of February, just because of the Summer Olympics in 2020, in Japan anyway. So even then though, hopefully they'll get a chance for that point. So, anyway, as far as the actual release date of Season 9 is concerned, it is, once again, it's going to be at spring. But this time, I believe it's on April, which is kind of like how it did in the forms of, I would say, by the forms of in Season 5, and especially notable with Season 7 and 8 especially, so this is actually the 4th time they're actually going to announce that at some point in during in April this year. So even then though, that I'm guessing because spring is actually pretty good way to able to actually introduce the shows themselves like this. Because back in in Season 1, we'll do a recap quickly before I trying to able to actually explore most of this place, especially because you need to keep on finding those remainings of the regional coins, as far as you guys can clearly tell at this point. Because, seems to say, we're almost pretty much done with this particular kingdom, and, oh, what the? Hold on, let me just swim back up, and as far as I'm guessing, it's one of those glass domes from that, yep, I know it. So anyways though, because back during the likes of in 2010, they did manage to able to, first revealed My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, even though I wasn't interested back then, but it wasn't until, again, in December 2012, which is about 7 years ago, actually. Well, almost 7 years ago, but now it's like 6 years ago. And, basically, I've now become a little bit more of a fan of the particular show itself, because of the Brony community. But either way, that's besides the point. In Season 1, they did manage to first release that in October during in 2010, and then in Season 2, they first released that in September 2011, and then Season 3 came out in November in 2012. And then in Season 4, they released that in November 2013. And in Season 5, Season 5 did get himself its release on during April in 2015. And then in Season 6 got its release on March 2016. And Season 7, I'm pretty sure it's April again, but this time on 2017. And then in Season 8, we got from April 2018. And finally, we have the most recent one, is Season 9, is going to be on, once again, April for the 4th time. So, it's kind of weird kind of thing about it though, really. I'm guessing because, they really want to able to actually go with this particular stuff with Easter specials and all that stuff, which, why is it always Easter when it comes to, like, celebration stuff like this? I'm guessing because I'm pretty sure that, once again, it's gonna have a 2-part premiere, just like, excuse me, just like how we did back during the likes of in any other seasons. The only exception is Season 7, just because they actually did have themselves individual season names, so, or in this case, episodes names, so... Oh boy, it's this part right there. For the most part, this first part wasn't that much of a big of a deal. On the other hand though, the second part is really tough and difficult, because you have to put up with those poison waves. And as a result, if you instantly die by that, then you have to redo the entire process again, all the way back from here. But here's the thing though, is the fact that this particular section really encourages you to able to use that frog. But on the other hand though, it might be still possible if you do this part with without the frog. But either way though, it's entirely up to you people, for those of you who really want to become skillful when it comes to speedrun tactics and all that stuff. But for me, I believe you might as well able to save the frog section until you get to this second platforming part. Because if you stand on the sinking platforms as normal Mario, or in this case myself, basically those sinking platforms will start to able to sunk in. And basically this is where things does get pretty difficult, especially the second mission on this section. Because the first mission is not that much of a challenge, because all you do is basically you have to make your way to the very end at this point here. But the second part, on the other hand, is going to be the most difficult. Because you have to go all the way to the left, right where the key is supposed to be located. But here's the thing, we need to dodge the insane amount of poison waves. But either way though, because even then, if you did not make it in the nick of time and instantly died by that, you have to go for the entire process again. But luckily though, this is actually my second attempt doing this, and I managed to succeed it. So, waves of poison hop to it. So, yeah, definitely another one of those difficult missions you can ever encounter in Super Mario Odyssey so far. Now, I believe this is the only kingdom to able to feature only one of those moonrock pipes. Because either way though, because, you know, this kingdom wasn't as huge as it used to be. Well, until whenever we get to the Cloud Kingdom and the Ruined Kingdom, because I'm sure enough those two kingdoms might actually count. Actually, I have to be honest here, until whenever we move on to the next video, that I'm actually going to be doing something completely different until the next video, because I was originally trying to able to actually go for those kingdoms in a chronological order, like Cloud Kingdom and then Lost Kingdom after this. I'm actually going to be doing something slightly different. I'm actually going to be focusing on, until the next video, I'm going to be focusing on the shorter kingdoms first, and then the forms of the medium-sized kingdoms, and then the larger kingdoms after that. So, I know it sounds a bit odd, but honestly, because of how the fact that I just want able to get these kingdoms done before on one hand, but on the other hand though, that's as far as to me though, as far as I'm concerned with this kinds of stuff, so... Anyways, though, I think that pretty much does it for most of this Power Moons. Well, the only two exceptions, mind you, which there are... Actually, have we got... oh yeah, two exceptions, mind you, which is of course the plant seeded one, or in this case the seed gardening one, and especially there's also one from the actual art, which, you know, again, takes place in a Cascade Kingdom. But again, we'll go for all that after dealing with the rest of, you know, the Lake Kingdom. But at the moment right now, I'm once again going to be able to actually try to find my way to able to find those regional coins no matter what. But again, just like before, sometimes I don't know exactly what where the last few of those regional coins were located, but I'm sure enough I can able to find the rest of them during that time. So even then though, let's go ahead and follow the trails of coins there, and go all the way over there to get that, well, just for the sake of the forms of grabbing more of those singular regular coins from here. But either way though, that's as far as I can usually gather it about, so... Yeah, I guess that's about it, obviously, with the actual news and updates here and there, folks, even though, and some bronies out there, but either way, though, because, well, there's not much else anything new to discuss upon, because I've already mentioned about this, new kinds of stuff during the likes of in yesterday's video, and I guess there's no point for Ableton mentioning about that again, so even then, though, because that's all I can say about it. Although, another thing I just want to point out right away is the fact that the actual... Phoenix Wright Ace Eternity trilogy of games is about to be announcing on the Nintendo Switch later on. However, though, on the forms of the international versions of, you know, that game I was talking about, it's going to be yet again physical formations, just like in the forms of the Resident Evil games on the Nintendo Switch. Specifically, Resident Evil 7 and... no, Resident Evil 0, sorry. And, Resident Evil 1 Remake, and of course Resident Evil 4, which I think is because of the forms of how the fact that those games has been made by Capcom, obviously, which is pretty understandable, really. Anyways, yeah, it looks like it seems to be missing something. Hold on, I'll see you guys whenever I find the rest of those regional coins. Ugh. I think I know where they are, because either way though, I did manage to research on it, And it turns out there's actually this well-hidden zip I was actually bypassed through from ever since the very beginning. And here, if we unzip that, then there we go. I think we get ourselves the final 3 of those regional coins that's been hidden there for all this time. So there we go. Whew. I think that's pretty much done with the actual regional coins finding department, even though it's a pretty good thing I managed to waste my time trying to able to explore this place, because other than the fact that I could able to find the rest of these regional coins from there, but I believe one of the Power Moon missions, specifically, you know, the seed gardening one, that I believe is going to bloom at any point. So even then, once we transport from here all the way to that, you know, that water palace thingy, and we should get ourselves the next Power Moon. So only one more Power Moon left to go before we're able to conclude the Lake Kingdom. So even then, that will honestly have to be by the forms of the actual art. So even then, I believe there are 42 of those Power Moons in this kingdom though, which again, not much compared to the forms of the Sand Kingdom, and especially noticeable with the Wooded Kingdom for surely. But because of how the fact that, you know, some of these kingdoms are pretty small, whilst in most of those kingdoms usually becomes gigantic and what have you. So anyways, let's just insert those quite a few Power Moons there. And since we've reached over about 500 of those Power Moons, not only does the new products has been added to the shop, but we now can able to power up the actual Odyssey, which it took quite a while to able to actually power up the actual Odyssey, and once in a while, this will actually lead us to the true final level in the actual entire game of Super Mario Odyssey. Now we can get to the darker side, finally, the very end of the actual Edge of the Moon. But honestly, Cappy, we're not gonna do that just yet though, because obviously, a little bit more slow for the most part, and plus, oh, I forgot to be able to actually purchase every single souvenirs. Well, at least one of the souvenirs. Or actually, how many souvenirs I've actually off by? I think I was off by 2 souvenirs left from that specific Water Kingdom souvenirs. So I might as well go for those before we leave the, you know, the Lake Kingdom, so we'll go for those first. And there's also another reason that they will save our darker side for later, is because, well, we haven't got to the very end yet, because either way, although it's entirely up to you if you want to go for all that stuff, but for me, I'm gonna save that for later, because either way, you know, you get the idea for that point. Let's just think right here. I will try to purchase most of these costumes the next few videos ahead. Actually, there was actually that one item I might be very curious to buy, and that is the Gold Mario cap. And there's gonna be a body of Gold Mario eventually whenever we get more Power Moons, but we would able to come across into that later. And plus, I'm pretty much almost low, almost like running low of coins at the moment, so I probably should able to go after those first. But anyways though, I think that's pretty much it for now. So let's head back to the forms of the actual Odyssey itself, and hopefully we should able to leave the Lake Kingdom. Well, for now anyway, because we'll be back for that until for later. But for now, let's just go ahead and go back to actually, no matter what though, I think I should probably go to Moon Kingdom first before you're able to conclude the Lake Kingdom, because I just realized about something, is the fact that since I'm actually in the middle of the forms of the actual taxi missions at the moment, so I think I should probably go there for now, and then just trying to go ahead and just focusing on the taxi based missions, meaning about the fact of the matter is though, since he's gonna be at the Moon Kingdom, so let's go ahead and find him very quickly. Of course, he's not in here, but he's actually right there. And then I believe the next destination after this, though, I think the next thing he's gonna say, well, after claiming that Power Moon as it is, a tourist in the, well, the Moon Kingdom. Anyways, rarest mushrooms. So, meaning about the fact that he actually gives us a hint, and that will have to be the Mushroom Kingdom. So even then, though, we need to go there next. And then after that, I'm presuming he'll actually say he'll go back to the Sand Kingdom. So even then though, in this case, the final Power Moon in the Sand Kingdom. So even then though, we'll go ahead and deal with it. So anyways though, let's head on to the Mushroom Kingdom, down we go. And yeah, you get the idea for this point. I was just thinking to myself about the fact that I was expecting if Delfino Blaster was going to be on there, but because of how the fact that back in the day, for about a year ago, they did keep on getting several leaks about the forms of like Delfino Blaster was going to be on this game, but turns out it was fake, just because of the actual like structure issues, or in this case by the forms of the actual visual issues and stuff like that. Well, perhaps it's maybe because it wasn't there in the first place or something like that, although it was there back in Super Mario Sunshine, of course, but which I kinda wish if that would be true, but it turns out it wasn't, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. So anyways though, so that's it for that, and obviously we need to now traverse back to you know, the Sand Kingdom. So in this case, we need to be able to get ourselves the final Power Moon on Sand Kingdom. Once that's been done, the actual Sand Kingdom world, or in this case for that kingdom, is fully completed. And let's just not forget about the forms of the actual Lake Kingdom, but we'll get to that after we actually conclude the entirety of the Sand Kingdom. So 516, so not too shabby for the most part though. Even though we haven't got that much of it though, but even then though, we'll accept that. So anyway, so let's head over to, of course, actually no matter what though, before we get to the forms of the Sand Kingdom on the other hand though, before we're able to conclude that kingdom, well, let's just go ahead and pop over to Cascade Kingdom first before we're able to do anything, because obviously there's actually the final Power Moon left for the Lake Kingdom. So even then though, because of that, you remember that hint art I was trying to show you guys about something? It was actually right over there somewhere, but if we ground pound from here, then boom, there she is, right there. Or in this case, she, because, you know, a pink color represents a girl's favorite color. And that concludes every single parts of the Lake Kingdom. So even then, that's how much kingdoms that we have done. I'm pretty sure we've done Cap Kingdom so far, and we've done the Cascade Kingdom, and I'm pretty sure enough we have done Wooded Kingdom completely, and Lake Kingdom, and now let's go ahead and conclude the Sand Kingdom before everything else can able to be happening. So, and that's what we're able to be conclude, like let's just say Cap, Cascade, Sand, and Wooded, and Lake. So that means there'll be 5 kingdoms will be fully 100% on it. So even then though, we haven't got far that left of it though, which is kind of odd, because even then though, I did done the main story of Super Mario Odyssey as far as the actual Let's Play so far, that we did done the actual main story mode on, in this case, the main entire story of Super Mario Odyssey for about a year ago, but now in 2019, we are doing some side missions, including, post-game content. So yeah, you get the idea for that point. So there we go, folks. That concludes every single parts of the Sand Kingdom. So that's 5 kingdoms down, and only a few more to go. Even then, though, I'm guessing the next kingdom we should be able to get into next is, of course, the Cloud Kingdom. So that'll be up next. But here's the thing, though, is the fact that I'm actually going to be focusing on the shorter kingdoms, specifically Cloud Kingdom, including the Ruined Kingdom, because I was originally going to go for Cloud Kingdom and the Lost Kingdom at the same time, but honestly I think I should probably go for the shortest kingdoms first before we move on to somewhat of the bigger kingdoms. So that's why I've decided to do that, because I know for the fact that some people seem to do it differently, but for me, sometimes I always go for pretty different things. So here we go, back to the forms of Cloud Kingdom. It's been a really long time since I've actually been to this place, since, you know, a 1-on-1 battle against with Bowser right there. So I'm guessing that was the last time we've actually done this particular point. So yeah, you get the picture for that point. So anyways though, before we end off this video right there, we'll go ahead and change the costume before we do anything, and let's just change into somewhat of a retro style, like for instance the classic suit on. Somewhat of a, you know, a flashback from Super Mario Bros. 1, or in this case by the forms of Donkey Kong or Mario Bros. I don't know how to pronounce. So anyways though, join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Odyssey. Is the fact that we're about to be returning back to Cloud Kingdom to grab even more power moves from here. So see you guys next time. Later, fellas.